Hey, good day, everybody, and welcome to episode 27 of my YouTube video series on property investment in Malaysia and in Singapore. And today we're going to talk about Lentor Modern, which is the next big project, one of the two big projects they're going to launch pretty soon in September. Well, recently has been pretty quiet, I think, because basically it's the Chinese ghost month, the 7th month of the Chinese lunar calendar. So if you see in Singapore, there hasn't actually been much in terms of new project launches because all developers they pandang, right, have to wait for 7 months to clear. In fact, Sky Eden, which is the Bedok project, which I reviewed in my last video in episode 26, they only started the public preview the day after the 7 month was over. So so just nice, you can tell, right, that they sort of skip any marketing activity during 7 month and wait until 7 month only over. Then only they start public preview. So as per usual, let's start this with a bit of introduction about myself.
Director of Alpha Marketing.
Speak in China, Malaysia. So my name is Ryan. Nama saya Ryan.
6,000 incoming supply in Johor. This is
I'm writing. Thank you for attending today's presentation on Iskandar, Malaysia.
Yeah, my name is Ryan Khoo, and I am a Malaysian, but I've been in Singapore for over 10 years since 2009. I'm practically half Singaporean now. I'm a Singapore permanent resident. I'm a property investor, first property agent as well, both in Malaysia and Singapore. I have done talks on property investment in multiple parties, both local Singapore investments as well as in investment overseas. I've been featured in many panels. I've written for the media, the H Prop in Singapore, Property Guru as well. iProperty in Malaysia. So I've done quite a fair bit of transactions, and I made my first pot of gold in property investment myself before I became an agent. And of course, today it's feasible to be an agent in Singapore because of all the regulations in Singapore. For you to talk about real estate properly in Singapore, I think it's better to be an agent. So today I'm with ERA, and I've done this YouTube series as a way to share all my thoughts and proposals and the upcoming news, the big news in real estate investment, and recently, especially in Singapore, since the Singapore property market is so hot. So today I'm going to talk about Lentor Modern. And this time I won't really review the Singapore market as of August because I think I've done so recently in my last video. I think nothing much has changed, as I mentioned, because of 7 months. Singapore property prices are still pretty strong. Demand is still pretty strong. I think we will only see some news entering September where all these project launches. So Lentor Modern is the next big project. Actually, there's two. Today is Sky Eden and Lentor Modern. These are the upcoming two major project launches in Singapore. I like to do project launch reviews because I think everybody wants to have a bit of idea, some third-party insight, not biased. I mean, as unbiased as possible. All property agents are biased to some level, but as unbiased as possible about these projects that are coming up. So today I'm going to talk about Lentor Modern and the reasons why or not to buy this property, this project. Okay, so as a disclaimer, everything here is cannot be taken as full investment advice. It's always good to seek as much information as possible from third parties, and everything is available and correct, up to date, and subject to change without notice. Okay, so these are some photos I want to share first from Sky Eden, right? If you are keen to find out more about Sky Eden is the Bedok project before this, and I just want to share some photos from the launch, from preview. They haven't launched yet. The launch will be sometime in September, and the crowds have been pretty strong. This is one photo of the crowds today at Sky Eden. I was here maybe in early August when they opened this to agents only. Now it has been open to public. If you're keen to find out more about Sky Eden, do watch my earlier video, link above. And you can see this is a queue just to see show flats. So you can see a pretty strong interest for Sky Eden. And a lot of checks have already been collected for Sky Eden. This will be another project, definitely like the Amor Residences in Ang Mo Kio last in July. They will sell out pretty strongly. I think you can assume 90% sales for Sky Eden as well. I think that is quite clear going to be the case. Okay, so but never mind. Today's focus is Lentor Modern, so let's stick to the point. Lentor Modern. Okay, so Lentor Modern, as per the name implies, actually it's a Gokoland. It's a Gokoland project, so I think Gokoland is quite well-known name in Singapore, a big developer in Singapore. And you may recognize, if you are paying attention to Singapore property market, that this is not the first time they use the modern series word lah. So actually the modern, I think this is the third one. They initially have Martin Modern, which is in River Valley area, and then they have this Midtown Modern near Bugis, and now they have this third one of the series called Lentor Modern. So I think the only thing that ties them together is probably the design, right? Certain color schemes and design features put in, which tie all the three projects together. So GoCoLand is a good project, good developer, does a lot of pretty high-end stuff as well. So as per the name implies, modern homes above MRT and more. I think that's the biggest selling point, says it all in one phrase. Lentor Modern is connected to Lentor MRT and does have a mall component. You can see the SMRT logo here. So that's basically the selling point, the biggest selling point of Lentor Modern, right? Above MRT and more. So integrated development. And as you know, in Singapore, integrated development are pretty rare. I think Lentor Modern is probably like the 13th or 14th project in Singapore to be integrated development. So I think less than 5% of all condos in Singapore are integrated developments. When we say integrated, we mean connected to MRT and more, right? And so this is one of it. So that makes it a fairly rare property and a plus point in itself, because people value convenience today. Especially in Singapore, as we head to we're in a time of high COE prices, so cars are very expensive, and it's getting people get to accept the use of MRT more and more, and convenience is more and more important. So but one question I always get is, where is this Lentor anyway? Lentor is not a common name in Singapore. I mean, you may, or even if you're Singaporean, you may or may not know where Lentor exactly is. So Lentor actually is Yio Chu Kang. For those of you, Yio Chu Kang is probably a better word to help you describe where Lentor is. But Lentor does have an MRT from the Thomson East Coast Line, which is currently under construction, right? And this Lentor MRT is already open today. So if you go to Lentor today, this MRT is existing MRT. Later we'll talk a bit more about Thomson Line. So Lentor is actually in the Yio Chu Kang vicinity, which is basically north of Ang Mo Kio, a bit west of Yio Chu Kang. Next to it is Upper Thomson area. So as you can see from the map here, you can quite easily get to SLE, quite easily get to CTE. These are the two nearest highways, right? And from existing MRT perspective, Yio Chu Kang is the nearest red line MRT that you probably know, aware of, right? And of course, it's pretty near the reservoirs and stuff, which makes it fairly near green area. So Lentor. So traditionally, Lentor is a how to say, landed estate area. So those of you who live in Yio Chu Kang are probably aware of Lentor as a landed estate. There are two pretty large landed estate areas here, which is the Thomson area landed estate, which is just nearby, and of course the Lentor area landed estate. And if you go to Lentor today, it's a pretty much an open, empty land area. There's all flat land today. So you can tell the government has decided to make this into a pretty big, develop this area very much, right? That's why they started to do government land sales in this area, all centered around this Lentor MRT. If you see in this map, there's another what I call landmark, Castle Green. Those of you who are aware of the Castle Green condo, is a fairly distinctive condo in Ang Mo Kio, Yio Chu Kang area, because it looked like a castle, right? Right. A lot of people are probably aware of this landmark condo called Castle Green. So Castle Green is pretty nearby to this Lentor MRT, right? As it is pretty nearby to Yio Chu Kang MRT. So yeah, so in case you don't know, it's pretty near Castle Green MRT. Castle Green condo, right? So Yio Chu Kang estate, that's where Lentor is. There are some high-rise around here, like Thompson Grove. There are some condos around here in this area, but generally not on a high priority list for most property investors, because this area traditionally no MRT, right? So for a long time, people ignore it. This kind of condos here, the price appreciation also so only, because this is a non-MRT area. But of course, people like to buy here because of the quietness of the estate and all that. But that might change with the Lentor area being pushed by the government. Okay. So now, if you look at this, right, this slide, something that I want to share that sort of make Lentor Modern a good reason why to buy Lentor Modern, right? So Lentor Modern is plot number 1. right? Mixed development with a retail component. I mean, there is 96,000 square feet of retail space. Mall is probably exaggeration a bit. Most shopping malls are much larger than 96,000 square feet. Okay, but I mean, like developer, they like to use the word mall, right? But it's not really a mall per se. But 96,000 square feet is not small either, right? It's a good size retail area. I'll talk a bit more about that later. But 96,000 is not small either, but not quite a mall, but not just retail shops, right? It's quite a lot of retail space, 96,000 square feet, but yeah, not really a mall. So number one is Lentor Modern. So on top, they will have the 3 blocks of condo, which is Lentor Modern today, which are 605 units bought by Gokoland. Okay, now you will see that number two, right? You will notice this red color number two also sold already. Yeah, 598 units sold earlier this year in January, and the winner is also has Gokoland inside. But this time Gokoland partner Hong Leong and I think another party, I can't remember who. But Hong Leong and Gokoland are related anyway. So actually you can say both both plot 1 and plot 2 are owned by the same people. Right. I think the reason why Gokoland buy this also, number 2, is to have more control over this area in terms of pricing. Right. Now, you see number 3 and number 4, tender close on 13 September. I'm pretty sure Gokoland will also try to bid site 3, site 4, right? To try and again control this area, but we don't know whether they'll win, right? Tender closes 13 September. That's about roughly 2 weeks from now. So another X 600, 700 units there, right? And then one more fifth site, October, and one more reserve. So reserve may or may not be triggered. Probably not, considering there are so many confirmed sites here. So, but this shows that all this empty plot of land today, if you drive here, government intend for it to be developed pretty quickly, right? Similar places you have seen this happen in recent times, Tanah Merah, Potong Pasir, right? Where everything is centered around the MRT. There'll be one project where there's quite a lot of retail component, right? Like in Potong Pasir case, that was Poise Residence, right? Where there's a retail component, and everything else is centered around the MRT station, right? So here we see a similar case happening for Lentor area, and this will, and the reason why I say it's good to see site 3, 4, 5 is that they will potentially push the prices up for Lentor Modern, right? Depending on how hungry other developers are to win the land site, it's quite reasonable to expect that prices will be similar or higher to try and win sites here, because all developers in Singapore are very hungry for land now, right? And 3, 4, 5, this is one plus point for Lentor Modern. Of course, Lentor Modern is the best because they are the one directly above the MRT, and they are the one with the retail component. 3, 4, 5 are all just residential only, without any retail component. Okay. Another thing you'll notice that in the URA planning, right, all these are parks. Yeah, there's something called a hillock park. So the land here is slightly hilly, right? So from the drawing you can see that URA intends for this to be a park. And again, this hillock park is connected to the linear park connector, so on and so forth, here in Singapore, right? So this is an interesting bit, a plus point for people who live in this area. So Lentor is a district to be transformed. I think moving forward, the Lentor name will be more well known because of the MRT and because of all these developments over here. But like I said, a good plus point, at least for Lentor Modern, is that we know that there are upcoming sites coming, and this has a very high chance of pushing the land prices higher. And therefore, if you buy Lentor Modern, you can benefit from that land sale going up. Because as I mentioned, developers in Singapore are very hungry for land, and they will bid very aggressively for land. How aggressively, we will not know until later this year. But looking at the way things are going, land prices can only go up, at least for the short term, right? So yeah, big selling point for Lentor Modern. Okay, so Lentor Modern, as I mentioned, is the best plot in the sense that it's just above the MRT. It's directly connected to the MRT, and so you can see this portion here, right? It's actually built for the connection to the MRT, and it has a 96,000 square feet retail space. Again, not quite a mall. Most malls in Singapore are probably 300,000, 400,000 square feet minimum, right? For retail space. So 96,000 square feet is not really a mall, right? But yeah, again, it's not small either, right? It's not just one row of shop. It's going to be quite a fair bit of shops also, including a 12,000 square feet supermarket, right, and a 10,000 square feet childcare center. There is no real supermarket in the vicinity today. I think the nearest one is probably Mayflower or Upper Thomson area, right? So this will be the first proper supermarket in the Lentor area. And of course, Charles Care Center is quite a thing. 10,000 square feet is very big. The one recently, I think they have only 5,000 square feet, the one at Piccadilly Grand. So 10,000 square feet is double the size. So you can see government, this is part of the requirements for the developer. So Goco Land will have to build this into their mall. So there are 3 towers. We'll talk more about the site plan a bit in a short bit. So we'll talk about Thomson MRT first. So Lentor MRT is here, yeah, TE5. Right? So in case you don't know or you've been living under a rock for some time, Thomson MRT is the major MRT that's currently under construction. Right now, you can go all the way from TE1 to TE9, which is Caldecott. Caldecott is basically Bishan, right? So this is already ready, TE1 to TE9. So that means today Lentor MRT is open, and you can sit Lentor MRT today to go all the way to Caldecott, right, or go all the way to Woodlands, right? And the rest of this line, which is up the way to Marina Bay, right, will open in end of this year, right? Government has assured that this part of construction will finish by end of this year, and that means from Lentor you can directly go to Stevens, which is basically off Orchard or Orchard itself, right? Or even Marina Bay, okay, or Outram Park, which is Chinatown, right? So MRT wise, you're talking about 15 minutes or 25 minutes or 30 minutes. So getting to city for work is going to be pretty convenient. So you can consider Thomson line, something like a parallel north-south line, the red line today is sort of parallel, right? So it's like two parallel to the red line a little bit. So it's the east congestion on the north-south line, and to allow people to have who live in these areas, they don't need to use red line, and they can use this brown line, Thomson line, to get to work in town. So I think that is a very big plus point, right? Because the north-south line today, of course, is one of the heaviest used MRTs in Singapore, and this line will definitely have a lot of heavy use as well. So as you can see, Stevens in 15 minutes, Orchard Road in roughly 25 minutes, Outram Park in roughly 30 minutes, and all this via MRT directly connected to Lentor Modern. And of course, in another 4 to 5 years' time, right, this Thomson line also goes all the way to East Coast, right, covering places like Katong, Marine Parade, Bayshore, Siglap, right, which is another big selling point. But this section of the MRT will only be built or completed in roughly 4 to 5 years from now. Okay, so but that's to explain Thomson East Coast line and where the Lentor MRT is. Okay, so another plus point of Lentor Modern is that the north-facing blocks are roughly facing northeast, and they will have quite unblocked landed views. Because unblocked views are rarity in Singapore today, and because the Lentor landed estate is here, right? If you buy those facing northeast, you will get this unblocked landed views, which I think is pretty fun. Looks pretty nice. This one's from level 14. Okay, so a bit about the fact sheet. Commercial area I mentioned already. This is 99-year leasehold because of the government land sales. 3 towers, 25 stories. Level 14 is where they're going to have some kind of a facility floor later. They will have, gardens and stuff, right? And 605 units. The car park lots are not one-to-one, but I mean, that's to be expected because a lot of projects today which are near MRT, developer will not provide one-to-one car park, right? They do have 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom. Now you will notice the plus flex plus flex. I'll talk about the flex later. What is the flex? Flex is like a extra space, right? Which I think is quite useful the way the developer has given this space for you to use. Okay, if you go to the show house, which I guess will be open in September, the sales gallery for Lentor Modern is not open right now. It will only be open in September, right? Likely after Sky Eden launch. That's why they have not given a firm date. And you will see that they did not provide a showroom for one bedder because I think a lot of developers realize the one bedders will sell out by themselves. There's no real need to build a 1 bedroom show house. So they have done a show house for the 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, and the 4 bedroom, which I will go through a bit later. We do have the floor plans here and show you what the plus points of that. But no 1 bedroom showroom because the developer say 1 bedroom no showroom. Everybody will buy with or without showroom. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so a bit about the site plan. So tower 357. Okay, definitely all the bigger size units, right? The 3-bedder, 4-bedder will be the ones facing north, where the unblocked view, and all the smaller units like the 1-bedder, 2-bedder will facing south, right? So the south-facing units, the negative point is that likely in the future they will be blocked because of this phase of high-rise and this phase of high-rise. That means you will not really have unblocked view in the future. There will be other high-rise blocking you. Thomson Grove, not so much of a problem. This existing project, older project, because Thomson Grove is at the site. Yeah, and yeah, so if you want to buy, if you can afford the bigger units, okay, the bigger units will definitely have the north-facing unblocked view. The side bearing is, you can see the north is here, so it's northeast. No real west sun for the north-facing units. In fact, west sun also, I think, will not really be a problem for the south-facing units, because again, in the future, all this will be blocked. Okay, so when these are built, we don't know when, but I think, yeah, a bit of west sun for the south-facing units, but bopian, that's the way it is. But yeah, of course, and you can see they have a pool here, pool here. There's a badminton, there's a tennis court over here. This part is gray because of the MRT, right? But you can come up. The main entrance is somewhere here. The main lobby where you come up, and then you can access the facility stores or direct walk to the blocks later. Okay. Otherwise, you can access through the lift in the mall below. Okay. Yeah, these are the unit facing. As you can see, all the bigger units are the ones facing north, right? With the exception of this B1, B2. These are the two-bedder. So if you can buy this type of two-bedder, it's the best. B1, B2, this stack here on tower 5, this stack here on tower 3. If you can get these two bedders, this will probably be a slightly premium price, but it's good to get these units if you can. Okay. So let's go through the floor plan review. So you will see these three show house at the sales gallery when they open in September. So the first one is a 2-bedroom plus flex. Now the 2-bedroom nowadays, all developers are doing recently, like at least all the projects recently we have seen going in the dumbbell layout. So in case you don't know what dumbbell layout means 1 bedroom on the left, 1 bedroom on the right. That is the most efficient way to do 2-bedders nowadays. And so you enter from the door here, kitchen on the left, right? And you notice there's something called a flex room here. Well, a flex room is actually short for flexi room, right? And you can use the flexi room. Actually, it's just a small area, right? It's too small to be a room per se. You can hardly put a bed. If you put a bed, it basically takes up all the walking space as well. But people will not traditionally use it for a bed, right? A flexi area can be used for wardrobe, can be used for extended kitchen. It can be a study area, right? And I think in these days of work from home, right, these flexi areas are generally used for this purpose. So in this show house, so you can see a typical the flex area is actually used as an extension of the kitchen. Later I show you a photo, right, from the show sales from the show house, right? This is basically used as an extended kitchen, right? So dining here, living here, and you have the typical dumbbell layout, 1 bedroom on the right, another bedroom on the left with its own bath. And they're quite generous here. The king size beds can fit in to the master bedroom. Wardrobe is provided by developer. Later I'll show you how that works, right? Dumbbell, because as you can see, there's no corridor to the bedrooms, right? This one is 732 square feet with the balcony. Okay, so if you see this photo here, this is actually the kitchen. Okay, you can see the fridge there, right? So the kitchen, the sink is on behind it. So this is the flexi area in their show house. And what the developer have done, which I thought was quite smart, it's quite rare to see developer show house use the flexi area as a kitchen. But in this case, that's what they did. So they sort of used the flexi area, extended the carpentry work here. So to put all the spices and some wine bottle and kitchen storage stuff, right? They stuff under this area here. So the flexi area in a sense becomes an extension of your kitchen area to put the kitchen stuff, right? Nice, right? I think so. That's one smart way to use the flexi area, right? We shall go back to the floor plan here. I show you here. So this is the kitchen, right? So they actually built a carpentry over here for the storage of the kitchen items, like this photo, right? Hope you can imagine that. So for 3-bedroom, so this is also available as a show house, right? You come in through here. This is 1109 square feet. Although it doesn't sound large from a square foot basis, but I think the layouts in Lentor Modern are quite efficient, right? So you can come in, you can see kitchen on the right. The bomb shelter is here. So you can use the bomb shelter either for maid's room or for storage, right? There's a WC for the maid as well. So it's quite efficient if you have a helper working with you, right? And in this case, kitchen here, correct, fridge space here. Right, later I'll talk about what they provide. Dining, living area. So living area, which is quite healthy, 3 meters, and bedroom. And you notice the flexi room over here, right? So a flexi room in today's work from home, in this scenario, is very likely used as a study area, or you can do it as a walk-in wardrobe. Now you will notice that can be combined with master, right? Because what they mean here is because the main door is here for the master bedroom, but if you want to take over the flexi room, right, you can basically then move your main door to here. If you can see my mouse, right, let me annotate a bit. Right, the main door is here today, but if you feel like moving your to swallow up this flexi room, right, you can move the main door here. Right, if you move your main door here, right, then this flexi room becomes part of your master bedroom already, right? And like I said, in most cases people will use it as a walk-in wardrobe, right? But otherwise, if you don't swallow up this flexi room, then basically it becomes a study area, right? Like I think in this show house scenario, they treat it as a study area. So this is a mirror. Don't let the mirror fool you. Okay, they put a mirror, of course, to make it look bigger, right? But it becomes, they just add some top cabinets. Here's the top study cabinets and becomes a study area, right? Very useful in this day and age because of COVID. After COVID, everybody wants a bit more space for study from home. You don't want to do it in your bedroom because your bedroom may or may not have the space, right? But here, again, the master bedroom is quite generous. You can do a fit in a king as well, right? And still have a bit of a table here if you want, right? But since you have this flexi area, it's probably better to do in the flexi area, right? Yeah. Okay. So 3 bedroom, surprisingly, for 1,001 square feet, quite efficient, even with this flexi space given to you. Okay. So next is the 4 bedroom. And the 4 bedroom, if you're coming from here, of course, this is the best layout to get if you can afford it. They have a junior master, which is something today I think a lot of people appreciate because junior master means you have your own ensuite bath, right? Compared to bedroom 2, bedroom 3, bedroom 4, they have to use the common bath here, right? But the 4 bedroom have an ensuite bath. That's why it's called a junior master. So you come in as a junior master over here with his own bath. The master have their own bath here, and there's another flexi room here. And similar like earlier, if you want to swallow the flexi room, you can shift your main door from here, shift to here, and you can swallow up this flexi area, right? And this becomes your entire master bedroom, right? So I think that's quite useful from a living perspective. In this show house, they do use it as a walk-in wardrobe, right, which is, yeah, one idea to give you. So bedroom 3, bedroom 4 have to share this ensuite bath, which is fine. But the nice part here for the 4 bedroom, of course, that you have a dry kitchen and the wet kitchen, and the developer actually built in this countertop for you. So it's quite nice. So when you enter from the entrance here, right, and you walk up a little bit, all this is glass, right? You can see that the dry kitchen provides a very nice space for you between living and dining. Actually, I thought this layout was better than the one at Live at MB at Mountbatten. The Live at Mountbatten one was quite nice, but I think there was something, I mean, not quite right with the 4 bedroom in the end. And I find that this layout fixes that problem compared to the Live at MB 4 bedroom layout. But this 4 bedroom layout is, I think, as perfect as it can be, right? And you notice here that even so, even this layout, right, they have a gap here, which is quite nice for storage, yeah. Because in the show house, I think they put some cabinets here for wine chiller and things like that. Yeah, I mean that's one way to do it, but I found it very nice and very convenient, the location of this storage area. Right, how you design is up to you, but yeah, I think there's a lot of way you can use up this space, right? And very conveniently located. Sometimes all these spaces where developer expect you to do things, right, can be very weird locations, but this one was a quite accessible location to the living area, which I found was very nice from the layout plan. So this 4 bedroom layout plan is as nice as and as efficient as you can see. 1,528 square feet, right? The flexi room over here. If you see how they do the flexi room in this scenario, it becomes a wardrobe of sorts. Yeah, so they do a wardrobe here. Right, you can only do on one side because the flexi room is not so big. You can only do one side, wardrobe plus a dressing table here. But that's good enough in many cases, right? So as I mentioned, very efficient layout. You can add study table if you want in the master, right? The bedroom 3, bedroom 4 are probably just queen size. This one can be a king if you want, right? You can add dresser space again, but yeah, of course, junior master come saver, junior master buff. And all these units will be facing north, which means no west sun and unblocked view. So the 4 bedrooms are definitely premium units. Will have premium pricing, but they're very nice. And I think the best 4 bedroom layout we have seen so far this year. Okay, this will be available as a show flat as well, which will open in September. Okay, we talk about finishes a bit. Developer has done up quite a bit of slides on the finishes, so I think it's only fair that we go through. So Lentor Modern will have a dark color scheme. As you can see, they use a lot of dark wood, very similar to some private banking, priority banking colors, which is very nice. The gray tones, although dark, but not dark where they make the unit overwhelmingly dark, right? It's still a very luxurious feel. I think this is from the Modern series. I think Guocoland had done this. This is the 3rd time, so they've gotten pretty good at it in this color scheme. So enough dark to match the light colors, where it doesn't overwhelm you with the darkness, right? So it's very luxurious feel. And you can see this is the color scheme they use. So all the bathroom porcelain tile, even the living also porcelain tile, but the colors are pretty nice. I said the matching is nice. This is the laminate color for all the carpentry, for the wardrobes and the doors, right? And this is the engineered timber flooring for the bedroom floors, right? Walnut color. Okay, not bad. I mean, I saw the color schemes in the show house. Not weird feeling. Quality is okay. And this applies even to the 2 bedrooms or the 1 bedrooms. So they don't have a real differentiation in terms of these finishes, right? Some projects before this, the 1 bedder, 2 bedder have a bit cheaper finishing, right, compared to the 3 bedder, 4 bedder. But in Lentor Modern, all the 1 bedder to 4 bedder have similar finishes in this sense. Okay, which is good. If you're buying a 1 bedder, 2 bedder, at least you are not getting cheaper stuff. Okay. Yeah, so porcelain tile, this is for the kitchen. Okay, laminate, same color. They are using porcelain tiles for the kitchen top, which is fine. I mean, I'm a former interior designer, so I know porcelain tiles are fine for kitchen top. It works well. And these are for the broom cabinet. Yeah, so again, the laminate color you see. This is the internal, but actually it here look like a bit yellow, BG, but actually it's not like that. This is very zoomed in, right? You will not notice the grain like that in the actual unit. There is a shoe cabinet they provide for you, right? Which is just nice, the size for shoes, and they even have charging point for robot cleaner, which is something nice. They thought about it. Charging point for robot cleaner. Everybody has a robot cleaner nowadays, it seems. Okay, so bedroom. So wardrobe is provided, laminate finish, right? They will have lighting in the wardrobe. Okay, that's nice. Some project didn't provide, so I think Lentor Modern is providing the lighting within the wardrobe, right? This is for the bath. The vanity cabinet is done, right? This what do you call it? With the glass, the the mirror material. Floor tiles in this color, very nice porcelain tiles. So as I mentioned, they have this color matching is very nice, very luxurious feeling. For electrical appliances, this is in the kitchen. So they do provide the hood, the hob, oven, washer dryer, and the fridge, right? All are SMAC, which is a bit of a high-end brand. Some developer nowadays only do Bosch. SMAC a bit more class, I guess, right? For the 2 bedder, 1 bedder, they're only giving induction, which is electric lah. In case you don't know what induction means, it's electric, no gas. Okay. Washer dryer 7 and 4 kg. Wash 7, dry 4. But for the 3 bedroom and 4 bedroom, you do get gas hob. So 3 bedder, 4 bedroom, they expect you will do more cooking. So it will be gas. Okay. For the bigger units, I think they get a bigger fridge. Okay. And for the bigger units also, they get a bigger washer dryer, which is 9 kg, 6 kg for the bigger units. So all these are provided, all are by SMAC. Okay. For the kitchen, this is the mixer, Hans Grohe, which is quite common. Small sink, big sink, depends on the unit size. This is for 1 bedder, 2 bedder. This is for the 3 bedder, 4 bedder, right? And these are the finishes for the bath, overhead shower for the big units. Okay, Roca, Hans Grohe, okay. And these are the WC fittings. Okay, all pretty standard Johnson Swiss molding. Okay, all quite nice. So the big question is pricing. Now some of you may have read it here and there. Actually, when Guocoland won this site back last year in July 2021, a lot of developers use it as for to say that Lentor price expensive, right? Because actually Guocoland did pay a bit of a premium for this plot of land, right? The preview in September. We expect this to be in 2001 per square foot and above, right? Don't expect anything cheaper than that. But as I mentioned in many videos before this, Singapore, everywhere also 2,000 per square foot already lah, for new launch in Singapore. That is because of land price, because of construction costs, because the market has very low supply right now. So 2,000 square foot is normal already, right? I mean, I know some of you out there still have problem getting to grip with this. And Lentor Modern will also be above 2,000 per square foot. In fact, in a higher range, 2,001 above. But I want to go back to the slide, which I mentioned very early on, that GoCoLand does control site 1, site 2, right? So even though they bought site 2 a little bit cheaper, but I doubt they will sell site 2 cheaper because they also own site 1. So they don't want to destroy the price for Lentor Modern. They will definitely sell site 2 same price or if not higher price than site 1, right? Even though because they control both sides anyway, right? And I'm quite sure they will also bid for site 3 and site 4, right? Don't know whether they'll win. The other developer might also be aggressive. We don't know yet. But if the land price are pushed higher in 3 and 4, that can only be good for Lentor Modern. So although Lentor Modern looks expensive now, the fact that you have many land sales upcoming helps it a lot, right? Actually, in July last year, when Lentor Modern was sold, the site was sold to GoCoLand, people say, wow, then Lentor Modern, this project will sure be expensive. But in 2022, when the government announced that all those sites will also be for sale, then people start thinking, hey, then actually not so bad. Even though Lentor Modern will be high price, but there'll be other land sites coming up that will push the price potentially even higher. So that's what makes Lentor Modern price acceptable at this point today, even though last year it was looking at high price. But again, this high price story thing, I mean, it has never ended. I like to tell in many videos, right? I mean, I remember in 2013, Bedok Residences, in Bedok, right? Integrated development sell 1,003 by CapitaLand. People say, wow, so expensive, 1,003 for Bedok, so expensive, right? And today 1,003 is cheap, yeah. If you bought Bedok Residences those days, and voila, you earn a lot. Okay, so whatever looks expensive today may not be expensive in the future. Probably because the Singapore property market, the supply demand is controlled so well by the Singapore government, right, that prices are unlikely to crash, and even if they drop, they will not drop by a lot, right? And chances are, because Singapore is a very stable country and a very controlled supply, prices will be stable or higher, right? And higher also because of, like I said, some of the things out of control, like construction costs, right, which are pushing prices up everywhere across the world, not just Singapore, right? Malaysia, any other country. I mean, the inflation is everywhere right now. And that's why a lot of people are putting money in real estate, because real estate is a good hedge against inflation. So if you're interested to find out about Lentor Modern, do drop me a PM, or if you have any other questions which I didn't cover in this video, drop me a PM here. I can be found at this phone number or this email, and I will try to answer your questions and about Lentor Modern and bring you to the sales gallery when it opens in September. The Lentor Modern sales gallery is quite nice, quite nice. We went to see it, as I mentioned earlier this month. It was pretty nice. I mean, very big sales gallery, very nice fittings. I mean, even bigger than the one at Live at MB. So, and as I mentioned, the 4-bedroom definitely is a layout that everybody needs to see, and to appreciate all the flexi space, right? Which I think is a very smart addition to layout plans in Singapore today. In this era where everybody craves a little bit more space, usable space. Sometimes space is one thing, but usable space, right? And then those flexi areas are very nice. And I think that's why Lentor Modern will also do well, despite the so-called high price. But as I mentioned, high price is everywhere anyway. There's no real difference actually per square foot, or very minimal difference ultimately, right? And it's just which project that you prefer, which project that you are ready to buy, right? So yeah, I'm rambling a bit, yeah, but thank you very much. If you like my video today, please like, share, subscribe, and do drop me a PM if you have any questions. I'm also on TikTok today, Learn Property Ryan. Maybe I should add that there. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye bye.